Aloha and welcome. My name is Taylor Norris, and I'm an astrologer and Reiki master teacher. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you about the Pisces lunar eclipse. It's a total lunar eclipse occurring in the middle degrees of Pisces, and it's occurring on September 7th at 8:08 a.m. Hawaii time. So you want to adjust that to your time zone. We're going to look at some of the basic information about it, including how it links in with other eclipses. Also, looking at some of the medical astrology of the Pisces lunar eclipse, what to be aware of, the star alignments, the galactic astrology. And then I'm also going to be sharing with you about dwarf planet Orcus, because that dwarf planet, this being of light and alchemical transmutation and karmic consciousness, is really figuring in powerfully into this lunar eclipse. And I did a deep dive into Orcus a few years ago. And so I found some wonderful notes that I have on this dwarf planet. And since that time, too, Orcus is a being that comes into many of my Reiki sessions as I do Reiki journeys for people who are wanting healing. Let us dive right into it. And so I want to start by sharing that this lunar eclipse is part of Saros Cycle 128. The total lunar eclipse, September 7th at 15 degrees 24 minutes, is part of Saros Cycle 128. And the Saros cycle is a period of approximately 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours. And when two eclipses are separated by a period of one Saros, they share a very similar geometry. The two eclipses occur at the same lunar node, with the moon at nearly the same distance from Earth and at the same time of year. So we are going to look at the Saros cycle 128, and the last eclipse we had in this cycle was on August 28th, 2007. It was a total lunar eclipse at 4 degrees and 47 minutes. So think back to August 28th, 2007. What was going on in your life? What changes were you engaging at that time? Was that a profound time of change for you? What can you remember? Some of those same kinds of issues may be coming up, coming to the surface as you continue spiraling around, up leveling, evolving different themes, different areas of your life. So that's something good to go ahead and reflect upon. I will link this article below, but basically, this is talking about the lunar eclipse, where it can be viewed from. And I found it really, really fascinating that the eclipse is spanning over 5 hours, so quite a long time, peaking with an impressive 82-minute of totality. So the Earth is coming between the moon and the sun, blocking the light of the sun from reflecting off the moon. The moon will appear dark. It will be lights out at nighttime during this full moon, and the Earth's shadow will plunge the moon's entire near side into a reddish darkness, earning it the eerie nickname the Blood Moon. So the United States of America is not going to have a great viewing of the lunar eclipse. However, the lunar eclipse will be viewable from most of Europe, Africa, as well as Asia and Western Australia. They will have the best view of the eclipse. So I will link this below so you can see if you'll be able to see it. Perhaps this article will be helpful for you. And as far as watching the eclipse or not, just use your own intuition. If you're guided to watch it, great. If not, that's okay too. And follow your intuition. It can be a very beautiful, powerful experience. Likewise, if you're guided to not engage with the physical viewing of the eclipse, definitely be listening to that. This is a very intuitive Pisces lunar eclipse. So now you can see in the astrology chart, the moon will be at 15 degrees 22 minutes, conjunct the north node of the moon, which is what's making this a lunar eclipse. And the moon and the north node of the moon are bringing in lots of Pisces energy, mutable water energy. It's psychic, it's intuitive. The veil is very, very thin. The north node and the moon are opposing the sun at 15 degrees 22 minutes Virgo, as well as the south node of the moon, 18 degrees 20 minutes. And you can see also in Virgo is Mercury, mind, communications, information, ideas, insights, awarenesses, mental shifts, as well as Orcus. And we'll chat about Orcus in just a bit. But I wanted to share a little bit of the medical astrology, what to be aware of in terms of our bodies with this eclipse. So the Pisces body zone includes the feet, the lymphatic system, the bloodstream. And this is coming from beautiful Judith Hill's medical astrology book, Eclipses and You. This is a really, really wonderful practical guide to the eclipses. And so the Pisces zodiac sign is weakening in effect, drawing the energy away from the body into the psyche, into the non-physical realms. So the subconscious mind is very, very activated. It can increase psychic activity of all kinds, subconscious, unconscious activity of all kinds. I'm really hearing now this is like an eclipse of dreams, of hypnosis, of energy work, a great time to engage self-Reiki, meditation, shamanic journeys, Reiki journeys, energy work for yourself, maybe getting a session from a practitioner, however you are guided at this time. Foot reflexology can be very beneficial as well. Judith writes that Pisces eclipses are associated with an increase in tuberculosis and other contagious wasting diseases of the blood or lungs. Pisces is linked to sleep, so we can expect an increase in drowsiness. Pisces is watery, leaking, bleeding, and those effects should be taken into account if you're having some kind of surgery at this time. Pisces can be weakening on the immune system, so be proactive, bolster and support your immune system however you may feel guided to do that. Take really, really good care of your body because defenses can be down at this time. Traditionally, you would want to avoid surgery to the Pisces body zone, which includes the feet. Although I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not giving any kind of medical advice at this time. This is based on the work of Judith Hill, and this is just information to be used with your own discernment and sovereignty. Orcus, dwarf planet, is all about sovereignty. That's part of Orcus's symbolism, sovereignty and self-sufficiency. So emotional and sexual thresholds can be low. The subconscious is vulnerable to influence. Hypnosis and trance can be very effective at this time. Make sure if you're engaging in that kind of activity, you really trust whoever you're working with, or if you're doing it for yourself, that you have skill and training in hypnosis or trance. Keeping the feet dry and ridding the house of mold are also indicated. It's a sleepy eclipse, so getting as much sleep and rest as possible, honoring your body. If you feel you need more sleep, if you feel you need more rest, if you feel you need more withdrawal and quiet time, do your best to give that to yourselves. Pisces eclipses are super sexy. Drugs and alcohol can work more strongly, and to make sure you're attentive to all kinds of boundaries, physical, financial, sexual, and psychic. So those are some of the medical astrology things to be aware of. And we're also thinking about Virgo body zone, which is all about the digestion, the small intestines, that discernment of, is this a nutrient? Is this a yes or a no? The binary function of Virgo in our body to discern and sort and let things in or out. So we're finding balance in our physical bodies, in our spiritual wellness as well. This can be very, very healing. And as I said, great time for journey work and releasing and letting go and becoming aware of what no longer serves our highest good at this time. This is a lot of what Orcus and the south node of the moon are really facilitating. Something also to be aware of too, as the moon is in Pisces. Pisces zodiac sign is ruled by Neptune. Neptune's the modern ruler, and Jupiter is the ancient ruler. Jupiter is in Cancer, making a beautiful trine to the north node and the moon. More on Jupiter in just a moment. Neptune is still in Aries. It's retrograde at this time, and it's opposing the supergalactic center, having to do with ancestral healing, one of these super massive black holes, relationship balancers within our consciousness. And I was looking back at the eclipses we had earlier this year. We had a Virgo total lunar eclipse. So this is the second total lunar eclipse of this year. We also had that Aries solar eclipse. And at the time of both of those eclipses, Neptune was still in Pisces. So this is our first eclipse where Neptune is in Aries. So that's significant, as again, it's a Pisces lunar eclipse, Pisces ruled by Neptune. So it is different. It is fiery. It is independent. In a way, it's like we do have better boundaries. To Neptune and Pisces can be like no boundaries, whereas Aries does have a greater sense of that sovereignty, that independence, that sense of self, that clarity, that directness, that discernment. So this is a very different flavored Pisces lunar eclipse than, say, the Pisces lunar eclipse we had around this time last year. So just to note that. What I wanted to mention too here, going back to Jupiter making this harmonious sextile to the Sun, Orcus, and South Node, another harmonious trine to the North Node and the Moon. Jupiter in the galactic chart is opposing the Lyra Ring Nebula. And this is another indicator that this powerful release, this powerful portal, this powerful clearing, that a lot of angelic support, galactic angelic support, very available to us. The voices and the guidance of the descendants and the ancient Lyrans and the future Lyrans, the ascended Lyrans, can really come into our awareness at this time. We could receive support, gifts, blessings, protection from those beings, from that consciousness, have part of that consciousness, this ancient and future consciousness, waking up within ourselves as we do the work of creating more space in our hearts, our minds, our bodies, our souls, and our spirits for our sacred remembrance, which is really what Jupiter in the sign of Cancer is offering to us, among other things. But that sacred remembrance is a big part of the work of Jupiter and Cancer zodiac sign. Very, very interestingly, to hear Sun, Moon, North Node, South Node, all in alignment with one of my favorite constellations, the starry river of life, Eridanus, Achernar star, at the mouth of the river, linked to the mouth of God chakra at the back of the head. And I'm just putting it together now. I've had a lot of back of the head, neck pain in the past couple days, week or so. And that is really mouth of God chakra. And I've had issues in that area before and have linked this star and this constellation to that area. And so to know if that's an area of your body where you're feeling tension or constriction, it could be linked to this, and it could be something that is coming up at this time to be healed, cleared, realigned, addressed, and hopefully healed all the way back to the original cause, so that direct connection to spirit and guidance, spiritual energy, spiritual guidance can be really open and clear and powerful and protected and kind of emptied out of any psychic debris that's been festering there. Achernar, as I've said many times, very connected in my journeys, in my soul readings, in the work that I've done to the galactic angels, very much living in harmony with their nature, with their planet, very telepathic, highly evolved, beautiful worlds, beautiful realms, beautiful architecture, very similar and reminiscent of kind of like the exalted elven realms and Lord of the Rings. It kind of looks like that when I tune in my mind's eye. Also at a more mundane level in the work of Bernadette Brady, this particular star is linked to earth changes, fires, floods, kind of catastrophe and crises. And when the moon is with this star, it can be linked to problems with women, female relationships, family relationships, kind of crises coming up. Again, to be healed, to be cleared in the light of love, in the light of awareness. And with the north node of the moon, that flush of energy coming in, we could see waterways of all kinds in the news and things like that, different things going on with the water element. These are some of the energies to tune into, and I wanted to share with you more about Orcus. So the sun shining that light of awareness with dwarf planet Orcus. Dwarf planet Orcus is brother to Pluto, out beyond the orbit of Pluto. Pluto is a binary with its moon Charon, and similarly, Orcus is a binary with its moon that's called Vanth. And interestingly, too, when Pluto's closest in its orbit to the sun, Orcus is farthest away. When Orcus is closest, Pluto is farthest away. They're working together, helping us with more of our making the unconscious conscious and that deep soul remembrance work. South node of the moon, again, this is energy that's fleshing out, and Mercury's in the mix, so we may be more conscious of it. Wonderful. We may receive more guidance, downloads, insights, clarity, and all it really being facilitating this mental shift in consciousness, this mental reboot, this mental upgrade that is due. In the work of astrologer Alan Clay, he talks about Orcus as karmic consciousness. And again, Orcus is a Roman or Etruscan god, whereas Pluto ruled the underworld. Orcus was actually going around and involved in making sure people were keeping their oaths, their vows, their promises, their contracts, keeping true to their word. And in the midst, he would punish or bring to the underworld those who were not making good on their oaths and making sure that they were walking in integrity. And if they were out of integrity, they would then be punished. So, in that sense of karmic consciousness, there are consequences for your actions. Now, as I said back in 2021, 2022, 2023, I was really working with Orcus quite a lot and many of the other dwarf planets. And I also have Orcus conjunct my sun, so I tend to have a more favorable view of this planet. This is one where I am working with, whether I like it or not. My soul said, hey, this would be a great idea. I want to work with this energy. So I do feel fairly familiar with Orcus and in relationship with this being, with this planetary consciousness. And I do see Orcus coming in to many of my Reiki sessions and Reiki Journey sessions in a very helpful and benevolent way, with anything from codependency to healing relationships, soul contracts, agreements of all kinds. I'm actually going to read to you some of what I've written about Orcus and found in this gold mine of notes that I had on this particular being. So Orcus restores the highest possible expression of oaths, vows, contracts, and agreements, nullifying those burdens we carry that are not for the highest good through the divine light of forgiveness, and holding accountable those who need to be held accountable via natural multiversal law. So it is a quantum planet. It operates at this level of the multiverse and all of creation. As the notes continue, Orcus operates at a quantum 5D or higher, third heaven and higher frequency when imbued with Reiki. Orcus is a transmuter of shadow into light that fearlessly probes the darkest darkness, and with awareness transforms even the most wretched vows, oaths, pain, and suffering into blissful soul liberation. Orcus empowers your ability to clear and heal any and all oaths, vows, contracts, agreements, spells, or otherwise binding dynamics which no longer serve your highest good and the highest good of all. Orcus enables you to heal and clear completely the deepest darkness and heaviest of shadows into pure light, pure consciousness, and contribute to the frequency of sustained self-sufficiency. That is one of the gifts of Orcus, sustained self-sufficiency. Orcus promotes a spiritual self-sufficiency and resilience to remain in the light no matter what circumstances you may encounter. Orcus empowers you with the confidence to go within and face your deepest shadows, knowing that the light of Reiki is there with you, the light of the universe, the divine, God by all its names, however you want to think about that. You're not alone. In other words, that your spiritual connectedness is flowing through you and healing you of anything that no longer serves your highest good. Orcus is a dear friend on any spiritual journey of inner work, reflection, and becoming more whole, integrated, and empowered in the fullness of your being. Orcus assists in seeing through illusion and cutting through consensus reality, dogmas, and other beliefs that do not match your inner truth. And so this cutting through consensus reality, Pluto also does this, as Pluto has a very off the ecliptic, is very aligned in its orbit off the ecliptic, and Orcus is even further a higher degree angle off the ecliptic. So it's cutting through that consensus reality, the ecliptic, the path where more of the inner planets, Neptune on in, are more on the ecliptic compared to the dwarf planets that are really like doing their own thing. Orcus supports you in living according to your values and inner truth. Orcus facilitates a shift into more and more of your own authenticity and integrity, catalyzing the growth and development of your inner authority. Orcus helps you create a life in which all aspects of you express your spiritual values, your thoughts, your words, your feelings, your communications, your relationships, your beliefs, your actions, your lifestyle, and your choices. Orcus empowers your sense of inner coherence so that the higher knowledge and spiritual wisdom is expressed through your lower faculties and human self. And I see that even being helped out by Mercury, also co-present in Virgo at the time of this eclipse. Your values are expressed in your life. Your energy matches your words and your communications. There's a total coherence and integrity within your being. As a result, you are able to discern when others are mismatched. This is a superpower, and their energy does not match their words. For example, they may be consciously lying or being deceptive, or many times they may be in denial themselves and lying to you as a result of lying to themselves. Orcus cuts through this process, so you are internally coherent and can recognize when others are not, whether intentionally or unconsciously. With this awareness, you may make the best choices to navigate the situation gracefully. Orcus is very linked to the bravery to be or do something that may be very difficult, countercultural, against the grain, or unorthodox. And I feel like this is even more amped up with Neptune in Aries. Neptune, the ruler of the Pisces moon, the Pisces lunar eclipse. So going against the grain, being true to yourself, being an individual. You know what your soul longs for you to express in this authentic way. And so you be or do it anyway. Thus, you have a soul level of integrity. Orcus also awakens and empowers your past life mastery and any shamanic connections and higher abilities that exist in your soul history that would benefit your highest good now. And so to be open and aware of that, I know that's been happening for me. That's been happening for other people who are also on a spiritual path, who are also working with Reiki energy, and are really dedicated and devoted to remembering their full mastery. So be open to these ancient gifts within you waking up and finding ways to connect with them, use them, weave them into your daily life, into your reality, to become aware of them for yourself. You don't have to share them, of course, but at some time you may feel called to share them in a bigger way too. So being open to that possibility. Orcus often comes in sessions during spirit release when there's a situation that is violating the free will of the client, or when a client is having a legal situation in which they have been taken advantage of. Orcus is a type of protector energy similar to the archangels. When empowered with Reiki, which is how I work with Orcus, I see his role not as dragging down the condemned to hell, as in some interpretations of the myth. Rather, he is empowered as the angels are to allow what is released to heal and clear completely into the pure light of consciousness. Likewise, I see Orcus as the clearer of oaths rather than holding souls to oaths made in other lifetimes. He is a guide and support in any Reiki technique that involves clearing and healing thought forms, curses, vows, entities, attachments, intrusions, agreements, contracts, etc., with or without form, with or without consciousness, from any timeline linked to your soul or the soul of the client in all of your realities and all of the client's realities. In sessions, I see Orcus focusing the healing light, the Reiki light, on the specific point in time, space, dimension of the origin of the creation of such a thing that is no longer serving the highest good of the soul involved. Orcus penetrates through time, space, dimension in this way for the highest good of the soul involved, and grounds the newfound freedom in the soul's present day body, energy field, and life right here and now. So that is Orcus, and Orcus is a bit of a awesome energy, my personal opinion. Having Orcus conjunct my sun and having Orcus come into many of my Reiki journeys and sessions, it's been a healing influence in my life. It's part of my soul's medicine, And I'm really, really grateful to be able to work with Orcus. And as I said, all of us with this eclipse really have a chance to work with Orcus in a deeper way to liberate ourselves from any oaths, vows, soul contracts, agreements, etc., traumas from our ancient past, anywhere in our soul's experience, to dissolve them. That is part of the medicine of Pisces and the North Node. We may become more aware of these agreements. Likewise, it may be unnecessary, yay, for us to become aware of these oaths, vows, contracts, agreements, and so on. And they simply may be released into the light for us through the power of Reiki, through the power of our intentions, through the power of whatever spiritual practice or healing modality you may be called to engage. That is what I wanted to share about this Pisces lunar eclipse. Again, it's super powerful on lots of different levels, and I hope for you it's as gentle, smooth, easy, graceful, bliss-filled as possible. Listen to your body, be gentle on yourself, be gentle with others, and know that this is a very powerful opportunity for healing, for clearing, for becoming in deeper alignment with your soul's deepest calling to evolve, to experience life as a human being on earth now, to know the galactic angels of Achernar supporting you, the Lyra Ring Nebula, the ancient future Lyrans are supporting you, the galactic angels of the Lyra Ring Nebula are supporting you, of course, your spiritual guides and energies you work with are supporting you, and also the Super Galactic Center, very much in support of this eclipse with Neptune and Saturn opposing the Super Galactic Center. There's so many energies really supporting this, being very healing for each of us in our unique ways. And again, thinking back to August of 2007, what was coming up for you now? This is an opportunity to step into even deeper healing, empowerment, and mastery in those areas of your life, in the Pisces spiritual healing, spiritual service, and Virgo practical healing, practical service. Pisces and Virgo areas of your life, any planets or points you may have in Pisces or Virgo. So I hope this eclipse is very, very wonderful and beautiful for you. I wish you a most abundantly blessed and protected and just glorious eclipse season, that it's as smooth, easy, and gentle as possible for your highest good and the highest good of all. Aho, amen, namaste, and so it is. Mahalo.